Hello, you. It's me. And this is Chikara Transformations. If you're not familiar with her, and I tried really hard to get a nice picture for her, I kind of fucked it up, but I'm sorry. But I mean, you can see she's a beautiful woman. Anyway, if you're not familiar with her, she's a big part of Girl World, where they talk about Amberlynn Reed, um, Foodie Beauty, Glitter and Lasers, Alexandria Rodriguez, and Chicara is a bodybuilder. So she talks about these ladies who keep talking about, trying to get healthy. But she explains, what they could be doing better. She does some recipes, talks about what she does when she's bodybuilding. Anyway, her content has changed some because she just gave birth a couple weeks ago to a, I'm sure, beautiful little baby girl. She's beautiful. The father seems to be a very handsome guy, so I'm sure the baby is just adorable. Anyway, the reason why I brought her up is because I would really like you to go check out her latest question and answer video that talks about her pregnancy and her birth and what it's been like for the first couple weeks having a newborn baby. This is particularly important for anybody who doesn't have kids. I say please check out this video. And the reason why I keep pointing to it is I want you to see the vast difference between her talking about giving birth and Gypsy. Because honestly, the tale that Gypsy told was very confusing, hard to follow, didn't make a whole lot of sense. But Chikara Transformations, it makes sense. It makes sense how she went into labor, what it was like in labor, after having her child. I mean, she goes through the whole thing. It's organized, it makes sense. And I could feel her pain when she talked about how when your hormones kind of drop off and you're just anxious and you just feel crazy and overwhelmed. She describes it so well. It took me right back to when I first had my child. I was like, oh yeah. Oh, I know what she's talking about. Oh yes. And that's the thing. You can tell such a difference in someone who genuinely, wanted a child, gave birth to a child, and is taking care of her child. There's such a vast difference between her story and Gypsy's. And it's not that people don't have different stories about being pregnant, labor, and having a child, because a lot of people do. That's not the comparison that I'm trying to make. I mean, everybody has their own story, which is why women in particular who have been through it like to hear about it, because they want to, I don't know, share the experience. I don't know, but there is something about that. There's a connection that you get with other women when they have given birth, because it's just it's a very personal, kind of intimate experience, and so it's nice to share. It's nice to share, and I know that when I was pregnant, hearing these stories actually helped me a lot, because it gave me an idea of what to expect when I gave birth. And that's something that Chikara Transformations did really well as well. She obviously did her homework, she read up on it, and then she said, why would you say this when it's like this? And I got very confused, etc. Listen to her video and you'll see what I mean. Just An example, she said, people call when the hormones kind of drop off, the first week or so after you give birth, people call it the baby blues. And she had this idea that it was completely something different than what she experienced, which was that high anxiety, having a panic attack, for heaven's sakes, which completely understandable. Completely understandable. When you first give birth, you have this beautiful, beautiful little thing you created, but it is very overwhelming, and it hits people in different ways. When your whole body just goes it just goes plop, and you're just a big, I don't know, a big bag of nothing. You just feel so weak and exhausted and tired and overwhelmed and anxious, and oh my goodness, she really described it very well. I honestly had kind of forgotten some of that, and reliving it through her story, I was like, oh yes, I remember that. Oh, it didn't feel good. And I like her candor, her honesty about it. Now compare that to Gypsy's story, because Gypsy's story most of the time doesn't even make sense. And she lies many times, just for the fact that she said, oh, Ken and I went in and gave birth and there were no cameras and it was really quiet and it was really nice. We did it without Lifetime. And then, of course, when the show came out, no, the Lifetime was there. It was all bullshit. And it just irritates me. And any mother who has gone through childbirth, her story is frustrating and irritating because it doesn't make any sense. It just all seems like something she saw on TV that afternoon. None of it adds up. It just sounds phony baloney. And her dancing around, what was it, like a week or two after giving birth and acting as if, oh, look at me, I'm all fine and healthy and la 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 la. Really? Really? That's all you care about? You lost the weight and you can dance around and you're healthy. Please. Whereas if you compare that to Chikara Transformations, completely different story. Yes, she's out, she's walking around now. But if you listen to her, the story makes sense. It sounds real. It doesn't sound like something made up. She's not showing off her body. And this is a bodybuilder. That's what she does. She trains people, and she's a bodybuilder, and goes to what do you call it? She. I'm so brain dead today. I'm so sorry. Oh my God, she's in contests and things. That's what I'm trying to say. This is a professional bodybuilder. Or semi-professional bodybuilder. I don't know how they phrase that. But she is a bodybuilder. She knows what she's talking about. And I just appreciate her story. It doesn't sound like something made up from a magazine or a movie. And this is why so many people are on Gypsy for her story, for her pregnancy, for all of it. Because it just seemed phony. And if you listen to Chikara Transformations' story, you'll start to understand what I'm talking about, if you don't already know. Because Gypsy, everything in her life is a story. Nothing seems to be real. I don't even know at this point, was she even pregnant? Because her pregnancy was so questionable. Changing sizes constantly is ridiculous. And then she has this baby. Did she give birth to this baby? Was this baby given to her by somebody else? I'm so confused about it. And I would never say that, except for the fact that none of her stories check out. She's always found to be lying for this and for that. Raina, Ken's mother, did, I guess, try to make some clarifications, which seemed to kind of make sense, but not really, because of the timing. Something she said about how the baby was already looking at the Christmas lights, but she was born on the 28th. That's after Christmas. Not to say people don't leave up their Christmas lights, because sometimes they do. They'll do it, past New Year's, whatever. But it just sounded wrong somehow. The timing sounded wrong. And that's the thing. With Chikara Transformations, it just all makes sense. Because she's telling the truth. You can tell. With Gypsy, she just isn't. And it's a perfect example. Make the comparison. Watch Chikara Transformations video where she talks about it. Like I said, it's very recent Q&A. I guess it was alive originally, but it's still up. Watch it. And then you'll understand, I think, to a bigger degree, what people are saying by why Gypsy sounds so fake and phony all the time. Do we see a baby? Yes. How often do we even see that baby? Hardly ever. She doesn't even talk about Aurora, the baby. She's too busy going out to bars and drinking. It's ridiculous. Whereas Chikara Transformations, so different. So different. And, I mean, please, go check her videos out. Anyway, she's great. I love her. I've followed her throughout her pregnancy. So vastly different than Gypsy. And I'm not really trying to make comparisons because they're two very different people. But I just want you to hear the story of her labor and birth and what she's done in 2 weeks having her baby. Because it's so vastly different. Just making the comparison, you know what Gypsy said and Raina said and Ken said. And all the bullshit that comes through their mouths. But listen to this real story of a woman who has a child. It's so different. And it just like screaming in my ears. It's just like Gypsy is so full of it. Everything she does is for likes and views and money. That's her whole life. Nothing else is real. Nothing she talks about is real. Just take a look. Just watch a little of the video. Watch the whole video. I would say it's a great video. But man, it's so different. It just gets me. It really does. It just gets me. Anyway, thank you for listening, and that's all I got to say.